everybody, welcome to my world. I know it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, but I'm back and today I have a summer makeup tutorial for you, so let's just jump right into it. The first step today is sunscreen, and I use the Neutrogena Hydro Boost sunscreen in SPF 50. I've used this product in videos before and I just couldn't do a summer video without mentioning it again. It is a very important step, especially this time of the year, so I made sure to slather it all over my face and down my neck as well. Now, as important as sunscreen is, it does leave my face looking quite greasy, so here I'm just using some loose powder to mattify my brows before filling them in. And to fill in my brows, I did use the Annabelle eyebrow pencil, which I've shown in many videos before, so I just did my brows off camera. After that, I moved on to concealing my eyelids, and for that, I used the Covergirl Trublend concealer in the shade Warm Honey. Now, I've just used concealer as a primer for my eyeshadow for years, but in the past few months, I've actually started using this product as well. This is the e.l.f. Shadow Lock Primer, and I applied it on top of the concealer and then apply the eyeshadow. This primer helps my eyeshadow look great for hours on end. No more oily eyelids, no more creasing. It has changed my life and it's only $4, so I highly recommend it. Now for eyeshadow, today I'm going to be using the Too Faced Palm Springs Dreams palette, which is a beautiful eyeshadow palette for the summertime. First, I started with the shade Rum Tiki. It's a neutral sand colored shade, and I just put a light layer of it all over the lid. Before I moved on to the rest of the eyeshadow, I put a small piece of tape on the outer corner of my eye so that when I'm done, there will be a clean, sharp line created by the eyeshadow. Going back into the eyeshadow palette, this time I'm going to take the shade Mocktail. It's a vibrant orange shade, and I applied it on and around the crease of my eyelid and also winged it out. What I love about this palette is the shadows are very pigmented, but you can also gradually build up the color depending on what look you're going for. So I started off with a light hand and slowly built up the color. The next shade I went into was BYOB. This is a dark brown shade, and I applied it to my crease and to the inner and outer corners of my eyelid. Then, to blend out the two colors, I took a clean medium blender brush and just lightly blended out the edges. I also went back into Mocktail first and then a little bit of BYOB and added a bit more color to my eyes. Once I was happy with that, I went back in with the Covergirl concealer and just applied it to the center of my eyelid with a precision concealer brush. Then going back into the palette, I chose the shade TFTI. It's a beautiful, beautiful shimmery gold shade, and I went in with my finger and applied it to the center of the eyelid. I also went back in with the same brush I used for BYOB, and without adding any more product, I just blended the edges so the colors transitioned nicely. So once that's done, I did the second eye off camera, and this is the result. And before moving on any further, I just removed the pieces of tape, and as usual, this is my favorite part of the process. and as you can see, it left behind some beautiful, clean, sharp lines. Now to clean up under the eyes, I'm going to go in with another concealer. This time I'm using the Dermablend Camo Concealer in the shade Deep. Lately, I've been loving concealers that are a closer match to my skin tone for under the eyes instead of using a lighter one for that brightening effect. I just feel like this looks a lot more natural. So even though I'm wearing a lot of makeup and you can tell that I'm wearing a lot of makeup, I still think that it gives a little bit more of a natural look. Here, I noticed that this corner wasn't looking as sharp. You can kind of see the brown shade was not dark enough on this eye, especially if you compared it to my left eye. So I took the shade BYOB on a rounded liner brush and just deepened up that corner. And then I went in with the concealer and cleaned up that line again. Next, I used the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in 35 Deep, and using a sponge, I applied it under my eyes to set the concealer. Then for my lower lash line, using a crease shader brush, I applied the shade Mocktail. So after that, I curled my lashes. Now I am going to be wearing false lashes today, but I always like to curl my own lashes first so that they don't stick out under the falsies. And to hold the curl, I'm also going to put some waterproof mascara. So for that, I use the Covergirl Lash Blast Mascara. For false lashes, I bought a set off of Amazon. It's these ones by Newcally, and it's their Wispy Natural Volume Faux Mink lashes. This is what they look like in real life, and as you can see, a lot of them didn't look that great. The hair was sticking out kind of funny, so that's kind of disappointing, but I still might be able to use the wonky ones by just trimming the ends. Luckily, the lash band is too long for me, so I did have to trim them a little, and then I checked them on my eyes before putting any glue on the lashes to make sure it was a good fit before it was too late to turn back. For glue, I use the Duo Clear Lash Glue, which is what I always use, and I actually like to put a bit of glue on the lash band as well as directly on my eyes. So I'll put a little bit of glue at the end of my tweezers and just dab that along my lash line. So once both lashes are on, I just put a bit of mascara on my bottom lashes as well, and with that, the eyes are done. As I was getting ready to move on to the rest of my face, Binks came to say hi, so of course, I had to take a little break and give him some treats. But after that, I moved on to some primer. So I started off with the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. I love how smooth this product feels when you put it on. It just glides over my pores and genuinely blurs them. It's magical. I have especially large pores, so even though they're still visible, it definitely makes a huge difference. So I put a little bit all over my face, and it also helps the foundation glide smoothly onto my skin. Here, I used an old color correcting kit that I have and used an orange shade around my mouth to help correct the darker pigmentation. For foundation, I use a Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer in Seychelles because in the summertime, it's of course super hot, and if you're wearing a super thick foundation, it does not do well in the heat. For me, I get sweaty and oily, and then the makeup looks rough over time, so a tinted moisturizer is perfect because I still get a bit of coverage and it's not too heavy on the skin. For contour, I use the L'Oreal Shaping Stick Foundation in Chestnut to add some dimension to my face. I also recently purchased this angled foundation brush, and I love to use it now to blend out my contour. For blush, I use the e.l.f. Putty blush in the shade Maltese, and it's actually a fairly new purchase, and it's the first ever putty blush I've tried. And the only thing is, it's a bit of a struggle for me to fit my finger in the pot because of my nails, but it's a really lovely shade, and I think it complements dark skin really well. It's a beautiful orangish red, and I just dabbed it high up on my cheekbones and temples and blended it out with my fingers. I specifically wanted to use a putty blush for this look because I was aiming for a more dewy look. Since we're talking summer glow, I didn't want a matte face, so if that's what you're into, I would definitely recommend trying out one of these blushes. Now, to add some glow, I'm going to use this Laura Mercier Rose Pirouette Illuminator as a highlighter, and I just love the subtle glow it gives. Unfortunately, it's not picking up that well on camera, but it looks great in person. You can also put it on your collarbones or shoulders, depending on what you're wearing, and it just gives you some extra sparkle that looks especially beautiful in the sun. Now for the lips, I'm going to start with this product. This is the Maybelline Superstay Ink Crayon in the shade Settle for More. It's a really great product. I love the way it applies and it lasts long, but I'm just not a fan of the color on me. It's just not my style, so I did mix it with another product. I use the NYX Liquid Suede lipstick in the shade Downtown Beauty. Now this product is a brown color that's just way too light for me, so I've combined these two products that I really wouldn't wear on their own to create a new shade that I'm actually obsessed with. So if you ever have lipsticks that just aren't doing it for you, try mixing it with something else in your collection and you just might create something great. Last but not least, I use the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray to lock everything in. So there you have it. That is the final look. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.